Wake up, buy here, pay here people. It's a beautiful day. Go grab yourself another cup of joe and say hello to Jim and Michelle Rhodes on the Buy Here, Pay Here morning show. Take it away, you two.
Goodness.
Hello,
Good morning,
good morning.
everybody.
Happy Friday, right? It's Friday.
Yes,
It's
the
been a bit
days
of
are a
whirlwind.
blur.
Yeah, it's a whirlwind
Yeah,
around here. We've
yeah.
got stuff going on. We're getting packed up to
Oh,
move, and
yeah.
Michelle's been
Tuesday we pick up the moving truck.
yeah.
So,
So Michelle starts packing. She's very organized, and she likes to plan in advance. So she's been boxing stuff for a while.
It's organized chaos.
Yeah, I'm like, honey, where's my toothbrush? What happened to my?
No, I have intentionally not packed any of your things.
Yeah.
Pretty much so,
It's
except
okay.
for
I just brush my teeth once a week, so it's fine. It works out okay, but it's like one day I was looking for it, but
yeah.
no, she started packing, and I got one more round of data, and then I'll be involved in all the packing starting this afternoon. So
yeah, we got a busy weekend. So welcome everybody. It's Friday. A lot of people call, or TGIF, or all sorts of things. I know in our industry, it's not really the weekend until Saturday night when you finish that.
Saturday's not the weekend either,
but they don't work on Sunday, most of them.
Oh, it's true. Yeah, a lot of them are. So it's a short weekend.
So their break from work doesn't happen for a lot. But So do we have any announcements? Nothing really.
Just a reminder about Monday night is our it's in the invitation again for our V8 Discovery for those folks who want to get involved in a V8 Discovery. Just see what it's all about. Yep. Try it on for size and get a feel for what we do. The data we're going to cover here today, and excuse me, I'm apologizing in advance. I'm going to be clearing my throat, coughing a little bit today. I still got a little bit of lingering cold, sinus, whatever.
Since our trip to New Hampshire,
picked up a little something. And so, I would just say for folks who want to see that, what we're digging into today will be an illustration of some of the stuff that we calculate and that we look at, and had a new member in the meeting last night. We had 2 V8 meetings this week. We'll have 2 more next week, and so I've got more data to turn around.
We kind of talked a little bit, just I think briefly on Wednesday, about one of the things that is special about a lot of the things you're doing with V8 is because you slice and dice things to give a different perspective on the same things, because different perspectives can give you different perspectives and different aha moments. And so this is what we're going to talk about today is one of those. And usually every month, Jim, just about. And it's like, I can tell when Jim's working on a new perspective, because he's just like, he's doing this a lot. This is the thing. And he's heads down for like a whole day.
Sometimes. Yeah. And so, I dig in sometimes. And this is today's data point, we'll call it, is me backing up about 10 steps and just simplifying. Okay. So
that is so valuable.
Yeah, it will be, I think,
it is
in this case.
So valuable.
I think this number means a lot. And I think, and I'm presenting it to dealers and letting them decide for themselves. From my perspective, it looks like it's a number that we ought to pay attention to. And so today what we're doing is providing a way to help dealers get to the numbers quickly and be able to get a feel for how well the portfolio is working.
And especially in today's climate, it's so important that you are looking at what's happening in your business from a lot of different perspectives. Let go of ego.
Sure.
Let go of the story about why a certain way you're doing things works.
Yeah.
And just like look at it and have an open heart, open mind, open eyes, and look at it from different perspectives. Because like I said, when you stop and you back out and you shift or whatever, I'm always posting things when on my social media about the perspective. And before we get started on this, it's just, I'm going to give a little tutorial. And it's like one of the ones that I use frequently is that, you're looking at a picture of a circle and everyone's like, it's a circle. And then you turn it on its side and it's a cylinder, and you turn it on its side and it's a rectangle.
Right.
So it's all the same thing. And people get so stuck in their perspective that they're, so what, one of the cool things about V8 is it really pushes dealers to look at things from different perspectives.
Right.
And there is a lot of value in all things to be able to draw back and look at it from a different perspective, because you're going to learn an awful lot from that.
For sure. So last night is an example where we were able to put this particular data point on a bar graph and show everybody in the group, here's your numbers based on the last 6 months of history. And I think this is, this can be true of a lot of the stuff we look at in V8 is in a comparative environment, but it's like you have math that is just, it's really not debatable.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, we can say that the math is, there's a reason my math looks like this versus, the dealer next to me.
Yeah.
But the math is the math.
Well, and it's human nature to hold on to being right.
Yeah.
And so it's like sometimes when it's math, it's like we're talking straight line things, and the having to be right all the time is not necessarily a straight line thing. Yeah.
And listen, for me as a coach and a moderator of these meetings, I don't have to urge anybody to change their business approach. I mean, I lay the math out in front of them and I let them discuss from one another. In fact, in last night's meeting, we had one dealer whose numbers really rose above the rest, and it allowed us to really dig in, and we'll continue to dig in future meetings.
Rose in a good way or rose in a negative way?
They really rose above their numbers were excellent,
and they
by
changed
this metric.
Okay.
And so we can see month over month what happens. But I think this one may not, we have other numbers that are pretty indicative of differences in business models and approaches.
Yeah.
This one could end up there. It's a newer calculation.
Okay.
But it's basically right now, we're just trying to give people a simple way to look at of the money that left your portfolio across a given period. How much?
And it's usually on the month, because that's usually how
Mm-hmm.
but you do the rolling averages and all of that. But like this is what we're looking at is a snapshot of a month.
Well, what we'll look at today here is a 6-month rolling average. Like I think on any given month, you can expect to see that it's up or down. Well, I guess the one dealer that we're showing on the screen is the month of, you're right.
It's the month of September. Okay.
Right, you're right.
So
that one is.
And so that all is the V8 groups, they slice and dice what happened the prior month. And it's usually running on a 3 to 6 month average.
Yeah. We have some that are 3 months and some that are 6 months. We try to lean on a 6-month average whenever we can, just because it's less reactive and it's right. It's better able to show you a range.
It's that pulling yourself back and not getting into the minutia, into the micro. And it's like looking at it on a macro level, because, for women, your weight fluctuates all month long.
What?
It just does. And so if we get all tied up with like, oh my gosh, I put on 2 pounds, it's like, let's scale back and go, no, I'm average. I'm just like right
for
there.
Men too. Mine fluctuates every time I walk through the bakery department at the local grocery store.
He's got like maples.
Yeah, come back. To the grocery store
he's got little in his mustache, and so when he's doing this, it's more he's pulling maple out of his mustache. Yeah, probably so. Okay, so should we throw this on the screen? Okay, so let's do that.
All right. So let me on my side, I'm going to expand it where it can be seen a little bit better, at least on my screen.
Yeah.
So I hope our viewers are able to see this well enough. What?
I can't see it any better yet, but that's okay.
Oh, that's just on my view.
Oh,
so
okay.
Hopefully they can see it the way that I'm seeing it.
Again, a lot of our listeners are listeners and they're not watchers.
Correct.
So if you want to take a look at these numbers, please go to our YouTube channel. Okay,
please.
Go ahead. And I'll put that back.
All right. So what you're seeing on the screen is our White Hat Way Banked Value Index is what I call it. It sounds kind of wordy, but it's like
White Hat Way is, it's got to have a name.
Yeah. And so this was created by White Hat Way. And so I'm just trying to help everybody who wants to refer to this. I'm happy for 20 groups to start to refer to this. I hope they'll call it the White Hat Way Banked Value Index, because this is our method of simplifying, getting data in front of
dealers. It's a new method.
Yeah. And it's a way that I think if we can all get comfortable with this idea of what this number represents, then like I say, it's math. And what's also important to me, Michelle, is that it's the kind of math that a dealer can get to on a napkin on the first day of a month after the calendar month closes.
So this is even more simple than shoot me.
There's a couple that are pretty simple. There's our principal and interest collected is one of the ones I talked about just last night. That P&I collected as a percentage of or per account rather is a simple one to get to, easy on the first day of the month. Some of the other ones that we run are a little more complex. We have quite a few calculations that happen in order to do projections and what have you. But so let me take folks through this. And what I chose was an actual dealer, one of our members of a V8 group. And I just loaded up their actual numbers from the month of September.
Yeah, and I actually, this dealer is from North Carolina.
Okay.
And I have my Charlotte, North Carolina
mug. Oh, look at you.
Yeah, it's from Starbucks because I have to
don't see
drink
anything
Starbucks.
That says North Carolina on my side, but
sorry, it says Charlotte.
I don't see it. There it is.
There
okay, now she got it. Yeah.
Okay.
So this data shows the dealer's actual results from the month of September. So let's just walk through it. The opening principal balance for this dealer was 4.7. I won't go through all the numbers.
Okay. And that's an easy thing to get to. Opening principal balance.
Yep.
Boom. Okay.
Originations about 266,000.
So that's how many new contracts are now.
Yep.
Okay.
We're added to in principal. Everything we're talking about here is principal.
Yep.
Okay.
Not interest.
Right. So we're just looking at the principal balance. And so how much principal did we collect? How much principal did we charge off? So in this particular, for those not seeing the screen, the dealer's originations were 266,000. Collected principal, call it 120,000. Charged off principal, 190,000.
Wow.
And then other principal adjustments, which would be write downs, those kind of examples where, payoff comes in and it's $1,000 short. And so we just we adjust that or write it off, and it's not a charge off, but it is reflected as an adjustment to principal.
Okay.
And then we use those numbers to calculate. The other things that are being adjusted on the screen would be any contracts that we acquired or contracts that we sold. So we would need to adjust that.
And obviously this dealer didn't acquire or sell any contracts, and also didn't have any other adjusted write-downs.
Right. And so what that calculates then is based on those numbers above. That says the dealer would be closing the month of September at roughly 4.66.
Okay. So, and they started at 4,703.
Right.
And they're closing at 4,660.
At least that's what they're calculated. What their software says is they actually closed with 4.63 roughly. Okay.
Okay.
So that's relevant to me because this is going to be a way, Michelle, for me to be able to help dealers have one more reason to get these portfolios in balance, work with their software provider, get these numbers tightened up. That's the
thing is that and we see that all the time is that there's a lot of reasons why your portfolio wouldn't be in balance. And sometimes I when I think about some of the conversations we've had, it's a substantial number.
Big.
I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars plus, depending on the size of the portfolio. So it is really, that it's like having your budget at home. You want it to balance.
Yeah.
And it's a good idea to know where your things are. And it's okay that,
we're not the government. We can balance our budget. So we can
or
do it.
pass a budget for that matter.
Yeah, we can do some math. So that dealer closed with 4.62. So here's why that's important. This dealer is showing to be short from the calculation. The resulting portfolio that the software shows is about 31 grand short of what we calculate would be. So where did that money go? We don't know. That's not the point of today. But what my point is, what I chose to do very deliberately in running this math was to use the actual reported number at the close of the month. So we started the month with this. We closed the month with this. We know we added these new contracts. We had these other adjustments. In this case, nothing, but we added these other contracts. And now we go back and look at, of the money that left the portfolio. And the way I've illustrated it, like visually in our dealers and our conversations with some of the folks we've been working with, is like, it's a little like having two fists, like this much money left the portfolio, right?
Okay.
So this much in one fist, this much in the other fist.
Okay.
Some of it, I drop it and it goes in the bank. The other I drop and it leaves the portfolio, but we don't know.
It's
it didn't
not
go in the
accounted for in like DMS accounting.
So banked, unbanked. This money went in the bank deposit. This money didn't go in the bank deposit.
Okay.
Okay. So it's like, think of it that's why I'm saying we're going ultra simple here.
Okay.
And so this is
that's why it's like banked value and unbanked.
Because our portfolio lost value. In this case, the dealers, what was the number? The portfolio decreased after taking out those originations. We see that the portfolio decreased by $342,000 in the month of September. See that at the bottom?
Yeah.
That's our number.
Okay.
The portfolio declined. We lost that much value in our portfolio. Like if I stand at the conference and I tell I got a $5 million portfolio.
All right. So, all right. I need to, I back up and then you can't pick me up my voice up. Is this alarming to you?
This one on a given month, no. On a given month, it's going to be up and down. That's why we like a rolling average.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So this is a month snapshot, and overall, and I think too, it's with something like this, it's a good idea probably to do it a monthly, and then back out to as much as you can annually. It's like where are we at compared to, September of 2024.
Yeah. And dealers started asking me already, said, where should this number be? Well, it's a brand new calculation for us, but it's similar to other numbers that we've calculated. And an article I wrote years ago on this subject about the ratio of collected principal versus charged off principal.
Okay.
In this case, we're looking at collected principal versus charged off and other identified, I'll call it missing principal.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're saying is what we know is the portfolio went down by X.
So is this based on what, based on contracts? This is the principal that should have been collected?
Nope. Doesn't have anything to do with no, it doesn't. Because we're charging off accounts in the month of September. This dealer would have charged off accounts that could have been originated a year ago.
$32,000 of unidentified adjustments is not changes to people being late, changes to, it's not. Okay.
It's not. It's just all that really is when we run the math and we identify all the components that we can identify. In this case, the three components that we can see on the screen are, we know how much paper we originated. We hope we can rely on our software to give us that number. How much principal did we collect? Yeah.
That's a hope.
So this is, dealers, this stuff gets a little muddy. People with RFCs and the way software handles RFCs, and they really get, you get this discount and principal in there, and it just becomes a little messy. And so I'm just trying to simplify and help dealers understand that here's the reality. Mr. Jones or Mr. Smith or whomever, it's like the reality is your portfolio went down by X, and here's how much you can see for sure when in the bank.
Okay.
So we're just calling it banked and unbanked.
Okay.
And so in this particular dealer's case, their banked number for the month of September was 35%. They banked that 119 collected principal. And so that came out to 35%. And you'd say, is that good or bad? Well, it sounds pretty bad to me. And when I go over and look at the group average for 6 months for groups 1 and 4, which are dealers are 100 to 500 accounts, that's 56%. So it goes back to what people ask me, what's a good number? Well, I would like to see it. If you look at principal collected versus principal charged off, we'd obviously like to be collecting more principal than we're charging off. I think most of us would say that. Most dealers would say, I'd love to bank more than I charge off.
Well, and when they say, I want a number, I think I personally, that based on economy, based on the market, based on a lot of things, it's going to fluctuate. So when you do something where you are looking at an aggregate, this is the average, that's probably your number. Yeah. It's like, that's where I should be aiming. So if I'm over that, great.
Right.
If I'm at that, then it's like I'm doing okay based on the market temperature, based on the market, based on the economy, based on all the things.
And this group average right here, even in this period of turmoil that we've had, we've had a lot of charge-offs at 25 and even started in 24.
Rough
so
year so far.
When I look at that, I just did some quick math over here. Years ago, I wrote an article that said, we really want to be collecting more principal than we're charging off. So if you just want a quick and simple number, you could do the same thing here. You could do how much principal did I collect versus how much principal I charge off. Okay. And I said that we'd like to see that number be at least like 125%. Okay. So of what we charged off. So if you charge off $1, you hope you collected $1.25 is another way to say that. In principle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's roughly the ratio here of 56%. You got 44% charged off.
Okay.
And
so that 56% is what you in that article said should be 110?
125.
125. So
versus the 46. And it is about 125% of the 44. I should see the 44% down there below. That's unbanked. If we compared it to our unbanked, so we're probably confusing the subject.
I'm okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So all I'm simply saying is in this case, the dealers in group 1 and 4, 6-month average ending September, they did collect more principal than they charged off.
Okay. So like back again, zoom back based on the article that you did before, is that in aggregate, we're doing what it is. Most dealers, or the average, is doing what it is that you said this is what we should be able to do.
Yeah.
With
and
our
this 6-month average just happens to support that even in this period of heavy charge-offs, we're collecting, this group of dealers ending in September, they collected more principal. They banked more principal than they have charged off and unidentified combined.
Okay.
So we have dealers that have other unidentified buckets. So this is all I'm trying to say is, if I look at just what you reported your portfolio was at the end of the month, we know that your portfolio started here, it ended here. It went from here to here. So that's why I say declined in value when we take out the new contracts we added, which is a number that I find that dealers, they have a hard time getting to that number. They might maybe even think to look at it, but it's like, because there's so many moving parts in a buy here, pay here business, right? You're adding new contracts, you're charging off, you got repos, you got this and that, and you got all these different metrics, and people like to look at a collateral recovery rate, and it's not wrong, it's just different. And so it's like, you look at a collateral recovery rate, but what I'm saying here is, this is just simply saying our portfolio currently, as we decline in value, like I like to say, if I'm this dealer, I got a $4.7 million portfolio. And as an analyst, my next question would be, but what does it yield? Like how much of that converts into money in the bank?
It's that whole phantom stuff that we talk about all the time. It's like, okay, so is it converting at a good clip?
So this is cash. This is just saying again, and this is just principle. So I think it's important people will look at this, and this is fun for me when I'm in a V8 meeting and I start getting but, and like, they have different ideas, and what about this? What about this? And like, it's just you got to compare, like, this number is just this number.
So and the cool thing is the buts, if you sweep them away, then you're comparing apples to apples.
Right. Yeah.
And it's, we all want to like try to tell you reasons why what we're doing, or whatever. So it's a way of apples to apples, simple math, simple numbers, and all of the buts are like, let's just disregard those. We're looking at this. Where do you fall on the thing?
And where do you stand on the graph? You can see your fellow members, and you can see what their numbers look like, and you see what your numbers look like.
Because and on that thing is apples to apples. It's apples to apples.
Yeah. And so again, it's like I'm always trying to find ways to articulate verbally and visually, like to be able to express visually what it is that's happening. And I like this number because it simplifies a lot of it. It takes out repo value. There's nothing here that talks about repo values. It doesn't matter what we recover. This dealer charged off $190,000 gross. That was the customer's principal balance at the time they quit paying, and the account charged off $190,000 gross principal balance in the account. Did they recover $5,000 in repos or $100,000 in repos? Doesn't matter for this number. That's not what we're studying here. What we're studying here is how much of our customers are paying, like out of our portfolio, how much of the money that leaves our portfolio on a given month goes in our pocket. It's just that simple. And so the repos might get sold next month. They might get sold in 21 days. It's like, it doesn't matter for this calculation. We're simply saying this is the percentage of customers who, of the dollars that we squeezed out of our portfolio, or that left our portfolio, some of it went in the bank, some didn't. And so this is just a way to get super simple.
So, this unidentified principal adjustments, which are the things that's the question mark. What kind of things usually are that would be that number? What kind of things contribute to that number? Do you have any?
Yeah, we see it be software doesn't allow for certain numbers it spits out are not principal. It's really giving us a total balance with principal and interest and some other stuff. And so it's not telling us everything. And so we have to work hard to go in there and find out what it is. We have a real big problem with lease year pay here, because our lease year pay here people, a lot of times, depending on the software, they have a hard time getting to a principal balance. And some will say, well, principal doesn't matter in a lease. It does when you want to start talking about this kind of stuff. When you want to start talking about how does this number compare to other dealers. And look, lease year pay is a tax strategy. It's a tax strategy,
but it's still a payment needs to be made, and
there's other benefits. But I'm saying in reality, if you're a lease year pay here dealer and I'm a buy here pay here dealer, you're getting $2,000 down from a customer. You're setting a payment of X. Your cost in the car is X, and so how you amortize it and how you collect back from the customer and how it looks, on the paperwork and to the IRS, it's just a deal structure to a subprime customer. It's just like, it's the same to us. And so when we put in a V8 environment, we put dealers in the same group, and we let them see lease here payer versus buy here payer. But in order for it to really stack up in numbers like this, we got to be able to get to principal.
Yeah.
So we're working with some of the DMS
what you
providers.
just said there about having them in the same group. I've got like a whole can full of questions that I don't want to future podcast.
So we got more topics, so that we're not going to run out of stuff to talk about. So this is a number that I would just urge people to contemplate. And so it's easy for them to run and do the math on their own. They can run their own numbers from the month of September. Right now, you go back, my portfolio started here, it ended here. I need to adjust for the new contracts that I added, and then just figure out how much of that went in the bank. Principal, forget the interest, forget the repo values. That's a conversation for another day. That's how we offset some of our losses. But what we're looking at right now is across a period, when our portfolio loses value, how much of it's going in the bank. And so we're just trying to get simple and just trying to. So I feel a little silly, a little embarrassed that it's taken me this long to kind of zoom out.
Well, you're a numbers nerd, man.
Yeah, I get in there pretty deep.
Yeah, it's like you go right down rabbit holes that it's like, oh, this is cool.
Overanalyze, I suppose, but it's like this is there's more analysis to be done. Like it's
really
going to be
cute numbers nerd, though.
Oh, thank you. She likes me, and we like each other, so you guys have to put up with that around here. But yeah, I think the thing I'm trying to show is that it's interest that we collect matters. Repo recovery that we collect matters. We'll study that later in a separate analysis, but this is just simply saying we're not putting some of this money in the bank.
So it's like, okay, if we're not putting some of this money in the bank, then that's something for us to, you personally or as a group or whatever, to just kind of dive into, so that we understand what it is and where it's going.
We had dealers in our meeting last night that their 6-month number was like 40%, and now you got dealers over there that are like 80%. We had some dealers, I don't want to say the number's like 81%, but they're banking.
They're banking 81%.
Banking 81% of the money that their portfolio decreases. They're banking 81% of those dollars. 81 out of every $100 that leaves their portfolio goes in the bank. So it's an important thing to ask them. How do you do that? How does that work? And that while that may not end up being somebody else's strategy, it's important for them to understand what that strategy is that's tied to those kind of results.
Yeah. And I would hope to a point that most people are open and flexible in their strategies to a point, because you can't just be like changing your strategy every month. But I do love when you come upstairs at the end of a V8 meeting. It's like, how did it go? It was like, it's always like, it was a really great meeting. We had really great conversation, and we so often it's like, we didn't really even get into the monthly numbers. We just jumped right into other things. So
we spent a big chunk of our meeting on Tuesday night talking about reinsurance and how it works. And for different people, we had people in there that are in reinsurance. So, and then so most of our meeting was taken up with two big topics. And then we got to the data.
It's kind of cool, because it's like a monthly hot topic based, dealer hot topic based on the group. What do you want to talk about? And so it just kind of, it goes. And
sometimes they don't have anything to talk about, and sometimes the data stimulates conversations, right? But this is one that I think is going to be something that will be a regular part of our regular summary report, and then we can build on the history and see what it shows, and hopefully we're all going to see that number improving, and we're going to be banking more money going forward.
And every dealer out there, regardless of what size, it's good business, especially in this industry where there are so many moving parts, to continually sharpen your tools, continually learn, continually sharpen, because small little things can start to make big differences. And we are huge advocates for dealer peer groups.
20 groups,
V8 groups. There's those are the two that come, but there's others too. And it's really, again, we I may be preaching, whatever, but you don't know what you don't know, what you don't know. And you don't know until someone asks a question that makes you question. And so it's getting yourself, whether you're going to a conference and you're sitting at a lunch table and you're talking to other dealers, and you're not just puffing up your chests and, look at how great but it's like asking questions. What are you doing about this? How is this? And dealers, I love how dealers are just like some of the most fearless entrepreneurs and you learn and you grow when you can let go of ego. And so, and it's funny, because when we first started talking about ego, and it's like our industry is, you kind of have to, because it's like, you're a maverick, and it's like, I can freaking do this. And this is, you have to start to scale that back and let go of ego, and now be like, I'm open and I'm teachable, because we get so tied to our way of doing things that there's
a couple of
there's a lot of growth that
as
can
we
come
kind of
from
wrap
that.
up here. I would say that a couple of things that come to mind. I've used the word thoroughbreds. Like, I meet dealers that are thoroughbreds. Like, they're and what I mean generally by that is they're people who are, kind of born to run, and they're fearless as entrepreneurs, as you describe, and they want to go. And sometimes my job is a little uncomfortable. I'm used to it now, but sometimes my job becomes to pull back the reins on the thoroughbred and say, let's slow down a little bit. This is something that we need to make sure we understand.
You have a firm foundation.
And listen, across even the last 3 or 4 years, in the time you and I have been working together, we've seen dealers crash
and burn,
and it's just it's painful to watch. It's like, we try to caution them against some of the stuff that is hazardous in this business, and and sometimes they just have their own ideas about how they want to do it, and at the end of the day, it's their business. It's got their name on the building, and they're going to go. All we can do is really advise and caution, and sometimes we strongly caution.
Well, this is one of the things that Jim, since we started, I was like, I would say you really should, and he's like, we strongly advise. Because when you tell someone who is very tied to their model and the way they want to do it, you should do it this way, it's like all the walls go up. And so it's like, we just advise that you do this, but it's what you've seen in your 25 plus years of coaching and looking at data and all of that. We would advise that you do this, because when you do it a different way, sometimes the results can not be good.
And listen, we just are cheering for your success. We want you to be successful. And so this is part of what today's about. One other quick story before we go, because you talked about the thing about, dealers putting aside their ego and what have you. But the story that comes up, it's probably a made up story, fable, whatever. But there's a story about two guys who are like lumberjacks. They're working in a lumber field, and they
they
work together. And the one guy notices that every day his counterpart takes a full hour for lunch and comes back, and every day, even though the one guy doesn't take lunch, the one guy takes a lunch break and comes back, and he consistently produces more wood. He has more output.
Yeah. And so he's like, I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I'm not taking a lunch. I'm still working during that time.
And so they ask him, how do you do that? And he says, well, at lunch, I take time and sharpen my blade. So it's like, that's just an example of
super simple. Yeah. And it makes me also think of like there's that cartoon that you posted a long time ago where there's a king and they're having a war, and you're looking out the tent, and he's like, and someone standing behind him is like, hey, sir, there's someone here that has something that they want to show you. It's like, no, I don't have time. And they're out there with swords, and the guy behind him has a Tommy gun,
a machine gun.
Yeah. So it's like, we get it's like, let's
get so wrapped up in the battle. And we work hard, and sometimes we think working harder. So this is just obviously an example, a metaphor about working smart. And that to me is about conferences and the V8 group, a 20 group. Get yourself familiar with what else other people are doing, learn from what they're doing,
listen to podcasts, do dealer peer groups, and just educate.
Quick mention, look, we're still a couple weeks out, but you've got the dealer roundtable coming up in Nashville.
There's
plenty of time for folks to get in there.
I really wanted to be able to go to that too.
Get yourself a plane ticket and get yourself out to that, because you'll have a chance to sit at tables. There's some really great moderators. They're going to be hosting conversations at that event in Nashville. So we would urge people to get out there.
Hey everybody, it is Friday. And so thanks again for joining. We know you guys have a lot of other places that you could put your time and energy into. And so thank you for taking a few moments to open yourself up to different perspectives and maybe learn a thing or two. And, we just really appreciate that. And because we do know you're busy. So have a great collections day. It's, Fridays is usually a pretty big day on collections. And we'll be back on Wednesday, which we'll probably have stories about how much we hurt because we'll have been loading a truck the whole day before. So
go get that money in the bank. Even if it doesn't come today, get it in the bank.
All right, everybody. Have a great day. We will see you next week.